We're here again at another episode of Boxing Talk. There's just a lot to cover, a lot of stuff I haven't covered. Um, a lot of these YouTubers are beating me to the punch with work going on and a lot of just day to day. It's hard to keep up with the YouTube channel. So with all that going on, I'm too tired to continue to push the videos out. I would like to get the subscriber count up. So if you have not subscribed, before we start, please go ahead, subscribe to me, share the content if you want to. It would definitely help me out. I get a lot of views on the shorts. Appreciate everybody that has subscribed so far. But let's get into it. Let's talk about the controversy last night with Rolly Romero. So Rolly Romero was fighting Barroso, who is a 40-year-old, was a champion last night. In the third round, he hit Rolly with a nice left, knocking him to the ground. Older doesn't always mean weaker. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. So we get to the ninth round, and they're both exchanging some punches. Not a lot of Romero's punches are landing on this guy. He's swinging back. He's tired, but he's not hurt. You know how the fight ended. Just got me thinking. What's going on. The scorecards came out. I'm gonna post a picture up here after the win. Some of these scorecards you can tell they had Barroso up a few rounds. Cheatham scored it 1 point apart. I think they need to find some new judges to start running these contests. Too controversial when you see numbers like this. Kenny Bayless and his controversial decision. And then Tony Weeks. This type of shit's got to stop. The fight didn't need to be called off. My question to you, anybody watching, do you think the fix was in last night? I just don't get it. There should be somebody over the referee at that point to step in and say, we're going to continue the fight, because obviously what he thought he saw, he didn't see. Start making challenges towards controversial decisions in boxing. I want to know your thoughts on it. Do you think the stoppage was too early? Moving on, talk about the face of boxing. There's a lot of conversation going around about how Tank is the new face of boxing. I personally am a Canelo fan, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people out here are, even though there's a huge majority that seems to hate greatness nowadays. We have reached a time where everybody trolls great fighters. Everybody says these guys don't want to fight nobody. They're ducking this guy. They're ducking that guy. I still believe Canelo Alvarez is the face of boxing. The fight with him and John Ryder had a lot of negative around it. Obviously, negativity and comments of that sort are going to come with the sport. It's a sport where people will debate, and it gets under people's skin. Some of you people just don't know what you're talking about. And that's okay. You don't know what you're talking about, which brings up the conversations, and hopefully you stop trolling eventually and get your shit together and start to come around and actually educate yourself. Watch more boxing, listen to more conversations, join in conversations, and maybe you'll learn something. That being said, Canelo is still the face of boxing for me. Didn't look great in the fight. He did just come off of a recovered hand surgery. He did knock him to the ground. Believe he dropped him twice. Even fights that you think should be night and day aren't always that way. Sometimes somebody's got an off night, but he says he's not going to beat Bivol with the performance. But he also didn't have to fight Bivol that night. He was looking ahead. I could be wrong. I'm not an expert. I'm not perfect. I could be wrong. But when they say Tank is the face of boxing, I believe eventually he will be the face of boxing. I'm not saying he's never going to be. I'm just saying at this point, I don't think he is right now. Canelo is still in the game. He's not retired. And if you match Canelo up with people like David Benavidez, you match him up with people like Dimitri Andrade, David Morrell, you still got numbers. You still got pay-per-view numbers. You still have people interested in those fights. And there's going to be high, what word am I looking for? It's going to be high interest. Tank, on the other hand, fought Ryan Garcia, both with a big following, both stirred up a lot of interest for the fight. So in that aspect, Tank finally had more eyes. If he fights Haney, he'll have more eyes. If he fights Shakur, he'll just have more eyes. So there's so many fights that are to be made. It's still early, still fresh. But right now, you got to think about this for a second. If Canelo wasn't the face of boxing still, Why is Benavidez and Andrade calling his name out? They want to match up against great fighters. They've said it before. I'm here. I want to make the fights that the fans want to see, and I only want to fight greatness. So, that being said, you can't deny that Canelo is not great. Some other fights that could be possibly underway or in the talks: Caleb Plant versus Billy Joe Saunders. Canelo stopping Saunders after busting his eye socket or a cheekbone or something along that line, and obviously stopping Caleb Plant, knocking him, knocking him out. There's some other talks about fights with Shakur Stevenson and Isaac Cruz. That was supposed to get made one time. Isaac Cruz didn't want anything to do with it. These guys are professional fighters. This is what they do. They fight for a living. No fighter is scared of anybody. So let's just put that out there. No fighter is scared of anybody. This is what they get paid to do. If the money's not right, what's the point? I used to be the one that says, forget the money, make the fights happen. But we got to remember that these are fighters putting their lives on the line. You can get injured in the ring. Some fighters have died in the ring. Some people have permanently gotten damaged for the rest of their life in the ring. So, if you're going to go out and make certain fights happen, you definitely should be getting paid for it. And if you think otherwise, then you're delusional, probably too immature to understand the seriousness of the sport. Boxing, to me, isn't a sport. You don't play boxing. You play football, you play baseball, you play basketball, you don't play boxing. With playing boxing, this brings me to my next topic of exhibition matches. Jake Paul speaks on being a boxer, but yet most of his fights are with mixed martial arts fighters. Exhibitions, these are circuses. I won't deny it. I will say I do like the Nate Diaz fight. It'll be interesting to see what that cooks up. Nate Diaz has never been knocked out in MMA, but boxing is different. Also, he has a boxing background. So, with that being said, I look forward to seeing that. Fans are slamming Floyd Mayweather for fighting former crime boss John Gotti's grandson, John Gotti III, um, in an exhibition match. Is he desperate for money? Those are the questions they're asking, which lead me into wanting to ask the questions. Do you think Floyd Mother? Do you think Floyd Mayweather is in it for the money? Um, is there a desperation of why he keeps doing these fights? Is he just doing it for fun? Do you think exhibition should have the same pay-per-view price? This guy's a multimillionaire. He's retired from the sport. If you want to bring eyes to the sport, cool. But to keep continuing to price yourself out as if you're a sanctioned fighter still, is a little ridiculous. I want to end this with, I'm probably going to start doing maybe one video a week. I'm trying to get the subscribers up so that once I reach a certain number of subscribers, I can go live. We can start actually having conversations live. I will be doing giveaways. I want to give some shirts away, some merch of my own, some posters. I want to do some boxing glove giveaways. If you're interested in that, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's build the community. That's all I want to do. This is Boxing Talk. I'm Kirk. We're going to do this once a week, maybe twice a week, depending on how it all goes. Hopefully you like the content. Keep coming, keep liking, and we'll see you again real soon.